The opening semifinal matched the 16-5 Frankton Eagles against the Elwood Panthers, coming in at 11-10. But before the action tipped off, athletic directors Jack Macy of Anderson, John McCord of Madison Heights, and Dave Edwards of Highland honored former Pirates coach Phil Buck for his 24 years as coach at Madison Heights. But then it was time to play ball. The Eagles came out flying. Chris Hassel's jumper gave Frankton a 6-0 head start. Meanwhile, Elwood was having all kinds of trouble. They squandered several scoring chances like this breakaway. Elwood was ice cold. How cold were they? Chris Glotzbaugh's jumper was the Panthers' only points of the first 5.5 minutes. But the Panthers managed to claw their way back before the first quarter horn. Craig Brunemer's quick turnaround cut the deficit to 9-8 at the buzzer. A circus shot by Frankton's Danny Jimenez opened the second quarter and gave the Eagles a 12-8 advantage. Then Elwood went on a 7-2 spurt. Jason Burke's three-pointer put the Panthers out front 15-14. But Frankton wouldn't give in. David Ratliff knocked down not one but two three-pointers in the final 35 seconds as Frankton took a three-point lead into the locker room at the half. That was the spark the Eagles needed. Jason Whitaker knocks down three of his game-high 13, and Frankton has a 6-point lead, its biggest since early in the first quarter. Two now by Jason Morgan bumps the lead to 8. Then Whitaker's three-point play makes it a 13-point game midway through the third. That also capped a 15-2 run that practically put the game away.
I thought a great key was when Ratliff hit the 2 threes right before half, and I thought it might have changed their attitude a little bit about how to play us.
Elwood just couldn't get its offense in gear. The Panthers shot a miserable 27% from the field for the game. Frankton coasts to its first sectional championship game appearance in 34 years, knocking off Elwood 57-37.
I'm really happy for our kids, Bill, because they just worked so hard, and we've had a lot of tough luck over here, and we've really been competitive for a long time, but they did it.
The Frankton-Elwood matchup proved to only be an appetizer for what was to follow between 18-3 Highland and 16-5 Anderson. Both teams trying to stick it to each other early in a pulsating first quarter. Didn't take long for the Kojak Fuller Danny Zachary shootout to materialize. First Kojak, then Zachary for three. Now it's Fuller's turn as he decides to take it to the basket. And then Zachary answers with another three. This time he fires one up from the corner. Intensity was the name of the game. John Cox swats away this shot by David Foskel. But Zachary was unconscious in the first quarter with 14, and the Scots were up 22-19 after one. Tyson Britt came off the Anderson bench to help spark a 10-2 Indian rally. Midway through the second, it was Anderson by 5. Sean Perry adds 2 more on a double pump, and Anderson was breezing by 7 at the half. The third quarter was a different story for Highland. Dan Sager knocks down 2. How about a little defense? David Foskel out of nowhere to stop this breakaway. Back to some offense. And Brad Ash, how about this one? And when Zachary nailed the 2-pointer, just like that, the Scots scored 10 straight points and led by 3.
And, of course, the key there was holding them defensively so that we could get back into it. But we wanted the second half for Randy to look to drive a little more. And, that was Randy. I got to give it Randy's idea. He thought he could beat Perry to the bucket.
But this one was far from over. Fuller led the Indians back. Anderson tallied 9 straight points to build a 6-point lead. But by the end of the third, the Scots were still only down by 2. Foskel added some scoring punch with 12 points. He knocks the score at 51. But guess who answers? Fuller for 3 more of his 26. It's now 54-51. Anderson was still up by 3 with 3 minutes to play after Troy King got the job done inside. But the Indians couldn't finish the job. They were 0 for 5 from the free throw line in the second half. And that gave Highland the opening it needed. Zachary gets the roll with only 35 seconds left to give the Scots a 59-58 lead. Zachary finished with 26. Anderson got one last chance, though. Perry takes it to the basket, but the Indians can't get it to go. Foskel wraps up the rebound, and with it, a 61-58 Scots win.
But just 2 years in a row, we've had an unbelievable game, and we've each won, and we've each come from behind to win it. So, and maybe it was our turn this year, but you got to give our kids credit because we looked like we were dead a couple times. As far down as we were getting, and Anderson just wasn't missing. We tried 3 different defenses the first half. None of them worked. We came out in a different defense, the 3-2 zone, the third quarter. And it enabled us to hold him a few times so that we could get ahead. And we ran our offense a little better in the third, fourth quarters also.
Well, it was a great ball game, Bill. I don't think anybody wanted their money back. Games like this always go down to the free throw line, and that's where it went down to, and we didn't convert them. And we had the right people at the line. In fact, we couldn't have programmed it much better. We were in great position the whole ball game. We just didn't execute the free throw shooting, and that wins and loses virtually every game of this nature.
All right, let's go right to Anderson, get an idea of the crowd here at the Wigwam tonight. They packed them in again. Kojak Fuller usually carries Norm Hill's ball club, and he did this evening against Highland. But John Cox with the putback there. Randy Zachary was up to the task for Coach Alan Darner's ball club. That's a home run, and then it's Kojak right back. This time to the hoop for a strong deuce. Anderson up by 5 at the half. Now watch this sequence. The quickness of Fuller. He makes the leaper. Then here he comes right back in a matter of 13 seconds with the steal. The putback. It's Anderson 47-41. Highland will not be shelved. Watch Herman come back with the hoop. Then 17 seconds left. Zachary scores what proved to be the go-ahead basket. And eventually it is the game winner.
Coach Darner said, Zachary, get the ball. You either penetrate or jump, pull up and shoot the jumper. That's what I did, and it fell for me.
We just did a great job of getting the ball to the right people, namely Randy Zachary.